3D set. So,
okay,
this
sorry,
is okay.
I
She stopped me. She's mean and tough, so. I bruise easily.
And this is not a spring chicken today we're talking about.
The new, we're going to do one of our 3D things, this time once again on the Toshiba 3D television set.
And this is our 3D update, because as you know, we do, well, we follow 3D, we produce 3D, and
yeah,
we'll bring the latest to you.
Yeah, so it's just, we're doing, 10, 20 minutes of 3D a day. We're in our, I think we're in our real 3D glasses.
These are real 3D glasses. Actually, these are some of the better plastic glasses that are out there.
Yeah, but they're so expensive, they're not even giving them out at press events anymore.
I know, now it's like, okay, you have to give them back.
I know, I think the last ones we got were like 11 months ago, so. But Toshiba has basically came out with a TV set at Createch in Japan, which we wanted to go to, but unfortunately we went so pretty much at the same time, but doing other things. But their 3D TV set does away with these.
I know. See, part of it is we've told you could do 3D without glasses.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about 3D Me.
Yeah.
Which we've done.
Which basically, yeah, which is a pain. It's a writing the game in the processing department, which means you can't let the numbers get off at one point. If the point wobbles on when you're processing it, basically you've lost the whole thing. So.
Well, and they used to do, because you remember before where you did 3D without glasses, right? What they do? Yeah. They put something on the screen.
Yeah, they use static electricity to keep the filter on the screen, and you could watch the 3D being done on the screen. And because it covered the entire screen, you basically had a bigger area in the room that you could set. And
actually, at the Consumer Electronics Association Industry Forum last year, one of the companies had a filter that they put on top of PlayStation.
Yeah, and the cell phones and stuff. Because we were watching Grease on one of their cell phones. They showed it to us. But, I mean, we've got a 3D camera. We got the only 3D camera out there that you can see the stuff in 3D as it's being done and after it's finished. So, and you can also see the double picture of it if you want to put it up. The two lenses. But what Toshiba has done, Toshiba is basically, I don't know what genius thought of putting a whole bunch of little filters on the screen, so that it basically, so if you, it's got a very limited area. If you move to the side, you get this motion. It's the same thing. You get the same glass headache as if you go like this when you're wearing the glasses. And you shift out of the frame and get you in the temples of like the sinus area.
Well, the good part is you don't have to wear glasses.
You don't have to wear glasses to get that same,
feeling. Like you're in the scene.
Yeah, they're talking about a series of filters across the screen, and where you're at, if you're set within a designated area, which makes it worse than if you at least, you can move like this a little bit with these. If you go too far, then you rock. And you basically then, when you go too far, you have to reset with your glasses to get your eyes, because 3D is an illusion.
Right, it's depth of field. I mean, the part I'm excited about though, because one of the main barriers has been having to use glasses.
Yeah, but it doesn't stop the thing. It makes it worse. I mean, if those people see why they're not bringing it to this country is because the Americans wouldn't pay for a television set that you move. Oh my God! And you go, oh my Lord!
So wait, they're bringing it out in Japan. They're not bringing it out in the United States. But do you think they'll really just sit there and watch TV?
Because the rooms that the TV sets, the rooms are smaller.
All the rooms are smaller.
In the United States, the rooms where television sets always tend to be much bigger, so people will get up and move around. Because I mean, it's going to, as bad as things are, Toshiba has managed to make it even worse with their TV set without glasses. They could have made it real easy.
What?
Because you can put a filter on your set that you can watch 2D, and it only shows up to 3D.
Because part is Toshiba has, don't they have the 2D to 3D TVs?
They have the 2D. Okay, they got it for everybody with picture-in-picture has always had the capability of producing a 3D thing, because all it does is just superlapping one picture. The colors are already there in electron guns. It just puts one picture on top of another picture, moves a little hair over, and then you got the depth of field thing. It's an illusion. It's not really there, but it makes you think it is. I mean, that's what they do. A lot of movies were back-ended that same way. They use A and B editing, and they put one on. They put one like is in red, and the other is in cayenne. And in the A and B editing, they move the thing on top of one another with a slight click over to the side.
Well, part of it is we've been working with 3D for a while, and you've got a background in animation and cinematography. But do you think, I mean, here I'm asking you these questions, well, not for my, but because of you guys. Do you notice a difference in the final product when you go 2D to 3D versus shooting it in true 3D?
Okay, the main difference is if you're going 2D to 3D, a 2D thing has not really been designed because, here, you get a lot of, but in 2D, see, we got tons of things there. Basically, you know, you're basically not doing that in 2D. There's no reason to be doing.
Well, and part of it depends, because we've been converting for a while, is when you shoot it, if you're shooting for the intention of 3D, or if you're just shooing for the intention of 2D.
Because we have to tell people to be, when we're doing interviews, she has to tell them to be animated. You can basically, you don't have to set like this when you're doing an interview, because...
And a lot of them do, you know, they're like, you know, like hands behind your back, or
because
just like...
normal people, a lot of them will speak with their hands, you know, like this, you know, and they're fidgeting and stuff, but when they're doing interviews, almost all of them have hands in the pockets, hands behind their backs, and they're been taught that style. You got to break the style to do it 3D. And if you look a lot, I mean, they said the reason why Alice in Wonderland worked in backrooming it was simply because Tim Burton is an animator. Everything he does is set up like it was a cartoon, everything. So therefore, he exaggerated. Johnny Depp, for instance, Johnny Depp was born to be in the silent movie days, when he's an exaggeration of everything he does, which is why he doesn't really fit in mainstream film, because he is, you know, he is, like they say, larger than life. Everything he does is like he was doing a cartoon.
Like, that's why he made the pirate character his own.
Like the Roadrunner movies. He'd have been great in the Roadrunner because he's basically so full of energy. Like I said, he took Captain Jack Sparrow and twisted him around until he became Johnny Depp's animated version of things. So, and it's the same thing.
Which is probably why Tim Burton and him have worked so well together, because they're both mutual fans.
That's right, and he basically capitalized on the quirkiness of Johnny Depp, which wouldn't have been quirky when my father entered the industry in the 1910s. When my grandmother was there at the turn of the 20th century. It wouldn't have been, you know, Buster Keaton, he probably loves Buster Keaton, I would guess, because Buster Keaton was a very animated person with the, you know, he would do tremendous amount of comedy with straight voice. I mean, look at all the physical stuff that Depp does on the screen. Even when he's playing a character like...
I mean, because you'll see, I mean, it's all...
Yeah, but if you see his drama, his Sweeney Todd, which he got an Academy Award for, he's basically never standing still. It's always movement, and that's how it works, because that's mostly how you can tell if it's back-ended. If there's not a lot of exaggerated movement, it's probably a back-ended thing. And because they're shooting for a lot, Clash of the Titans was backroomed because of the fact that, you know, a lot of those computer effects to begin with, they basically had the computer effects to work with. But you can tell because the action was not done. If you want to move, I mean, it would have been, Errol Flynn would have been great, because he'd have been, you know, like that. Or, you know, I watched the movie the other day, The Great Race. I would redo The Great Race if you could find a new Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon and Peter Falk, because that was done in the old style of silent movies. Everybody was exaggerated. Things blew up. Cars fell apart. Things were thrown at you. Pie fights.
Which actually is a way that people can tell if something was shot specifically for 3D.
Yeah.
Just like we can tell if something's shot for mobile phones.
Yeah.
Or internet or television.
That's right. Mobile phones tend to, a mobile phone tends to keep you more confined in an area. Because if they spread out, I mean, you could not do Lawrence of Arabia good on a mobile phone. because you can reduce it down to that size, which is, you know.
But it's just so minuscule.
I mean, what happens is they basically, even though it was shot in CinemaScope in widescreen, when they if they letterbox it, you lose the stuff, because the mobile phone is not designed for 16:9, not even designed for 4:3. 4:3 is standard television. 16:9.
What is mobile anyway?
Mobile is it's basically like a 2.2, I think, or one, or depending. You know, it's basically it's just
it depends on your mobile phone, of course.
It's about like this, which is probably about a 1.2, I would bet. So that would be my guess, 1.2, which is not, and it doesn't, everything, you lose everything on it, you lose on the sides. What they do is they whack out the sides so they can keep people's perspective in the middle. But they grump on television. I mean, I've heard them grumping on Turner Classic Movie about when they basically, you know, fixed things. They took the CinemaScope things and put them on television, which was 4:3. You lost all the action on both the sides, so they can keep the center. They rephotograph it. Cell phones does the same thing. So it's, I mean, like you could show. I mean, we've not actually we probably have to make something. We'll do one of our 3D things and fix it so it can be done on a cell phone and see what it's actually going to look like that, because we've never done it yet. We don't make things that small. We high def everything, but 3D since, I mean, I've been at it for actually 60 years now, which is why I'm old. It's why I sound old. It's why I look old. Like I'm not really as out of shape as you might think, because you know I drink an awful lot of coffee to stay awake at night because I do the 3D stuff. Basically 3D can be it's really beautiful, but the problem is you've got to process it. If we take it one step, okay. Our camera shows what it looks like without having to have the glasses. To take it one step more to where we can have clear glass, you know, the clear thing on the screen, we have to computerize it one more step, and it already takes.
It's processing.
It's processing.
Because it takes us, for example, it takes us what, about 30% longer.
Yeah. It takes about 30% longer. It really does take that. And if you add the next form to take it from Anagraph, which is red cayenne, you add another third of time.
And then also typically, because they're larger files, takes longer to load also.
Yep. And it takes 90 minutes on the fastest thing we have to get an extended piece up on the internet.
Because they're big files.
And I can't tell you where we're at. I was talking to people, and they know that the people that in the entertainment division of their company absolutely hate and detest 3D. Totally hate it. People at Warner Brothers think it's such a big loss that they're not 3Ding the last version, I think, of the Harry Potter thing, even though they...
Oh, really?
Because we're going to add $50 million more production cost.
Well, that is a lot.
And since only 1 out of every 9 3D movies have actually made any money...
Well, I mean, I guess you can kind of understand, because even Alice in Wonderland was in the movies in 3D,
yeah.
And then we couldn't buy a 3D copy.
You can't get 3D.
We got a Blu-ray copy and a, you know, regular DVD copy. But, you know, when you look at Blu-ray... It can look almost 3D anyway,
yeah.
If you have a good Blu-ray.
Because but then again, you have to really match everything up to make that work. But we were talking to people who were supplying glasses for Journey to the Center of the Earth, which is actually owned by Brendan Fraser. He's the producer and creator of that thing. They thought they were going to sell 10 million set of glasses to people for DVDs. It didn't come out on DVD. It didn't come out 3D on DVD because they've got a problem with, they've decided that one system shall be used for Blu-ray, but the problem is the HDs have got a problem. There's like 14 different versions of 3D. And I don't know I think that Toshiba is still proprietary for Toshiba.
It probably is, I'm not certain, but
yeah.
I know they've been doing
what they've done is they probably put the filters are the same that goes in their active shutter glasses. And they're going to stick you, if they're sticking you 120, actually they went up to 150 from what I did read.
Really?
Yeah, they can't sell the things now, so they're going to raise the price by $25 a
What I don't know is if their 3D TV is only 3D or can it also do 2D?
No, it does 2D.
Okay.
But that basically, the problem comes is if you get into those sweet spots, then